Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Sheriff Quinny was tragically slain, but our other heroes escaped the Wild West. Butthole wished the surviving townsfolk to safety. Moss accepted a role as sheriff of Tomb Slab survivors. And Quinny, again, is, well, that one's dead. But what will happen now that these heroes are falling uncontrollably after a fart-powered teleportation? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Juniper is dead. This is something, Quinny, that has rocked you in a way that perhaps you didn't anticipate, because with the other deaths, you've been there. You've whether it was you or Butthole, you were there to experience it, and there was some purpose to it. But for Juniper, all you got was the offhanded comment of Baba Yaga before she disappeared. And rather than with Butthole's death, where you're able to, or even Mudbutts for that matter, mourn with your friends, here you just have your new quasi friend, Reginald. The two of you spent a bleak night in Reunities, kind of processing this before setting out in search of Keith, the portal wizard, the next day. I guess what I'm looking for from you, Tyler, and you, Ryan, is what was kind of, I'm using highlight in a very broad way here, but what was kind of the highlight moment for each of you over that evening? What was the spotlight moment is perhaps the better.
The highlight of hearing about Juniper's death.
Yeah, the highlight of the morning, just like if we had a grief highlight reel, you're just showing
top
the grief.
3 moments of the night.
Yeah, greatest grief hits on Nonstop Insta.
I think Quinny might have been leveraging Butthole's refilling flagon of mead. Mm-hmm. I think he'd just be pounding them back, pounding it down, pounding them back.
All right.
And I think Reginald would have been very proud of himself when he got into the logic trap of, we're going to hell. So if Juniper went to hell, then we can find Juniper. So he would have, thinking he was doing the right thing, very touchingly tried to convince Quinny that Juniper was a terrible person, so he didn't have to worry, which I feel like would hit that, like, logically it would help, but emotionally it would feel really ugly. So it's just like a fraught evening of Reginald approaching being the right friend to have with you and then fucking it up and kind of circling both.
And just like between gulps, of sucking in air, be like, she's a paladin, man. She's not going to hell, man. She's going to that other place. She was great. She was one of the great ones. She was good. Just like lifting his thing up. And
I don't know. The thing I've always been told by my dad was the worst kind of people are people that you don't remember very well. And I'll tell you right now, if I had to draw her painting or get myself shot in the head with a crossbow, I'm taking that bolt in the brain, buddy. I think straight to hell with that one. She's awful. She's awful, and that's why we're going to save her for you, because you like her.
I need to sleep, or I'm going to be sick.
Hey, why not do both? I think that's where you're heading, buddy. It's just like scoops him up like a baby and just walks him upstairs to a room.
Amazing. So as the door slams behind you, you feel the scribbling of tiny legs as Mickey the Rat slips out from kind of your cloak and just says, "Hey, Quinny, I'm real sorry to hear about your pal there. Listen, I don't mean nothing by this, but don't really want to be in your cloak if you throw up on yourself. So I'm gonna go sleep over here. Is that all right?" Yeah, all right, buddy. You sleep it off. Okay, all right. We'll go get him tomorrow. All right, go Junior Jays. Go Junior Jays. Okay. And then he just skitters away under just, sleeps where rats sleep. I don't know, a magical Pixar wonderland that presumably exists between the floorboards. And Quinny, you're kind of left alone to your thoughts. Is there anything you do before you go to bed?
I think I try to get up and I just fall back down into the bed. The mug is accidentally filled once again, and I just spill it across the bed.
I think,
Yeah.
and that's the point
Aw.
where the door opens and Reginald comes back in and he's like, "Hey, so I know you got your own room, but you're clearly not doing well. So I kind of got to make sure that you like sleep safe. So cuddle buddies." And then he'll just kind of sit on the end of the bed in his armor. And just
I
kind
was
of
gonna say, like a hand comes up and a finger points at you. It's just like, armor off if we're cuddling. It's gonna hurt. I can't. Quinny can't hurt any more than he's already hurting.
well,
Take that shit off.
okay. And he does. He like takes his armor off, but Reginald feels weird with someone watching him undress, so he kind of dances a little while he does it, as though like that'll make it feel less performative, but it doesn't. And then he'll like lock the door and climb into bed, feeling a little bit weird about it, and just kind of keep Quinny on his side with like head, facing away from bed, so that should mess happen, it won't happen on Quinny.
Ironically, likely to happen like into the Pixar Rat Wonderland, but
Yeah.
Mickey doesn't know that, so that's fine. And with that, the two of you fall into an uneasy slumber. Reginald, one of the first times you have slept without your armor and booby traps. You've grown, man.
I did it as Quinny, but now I'm doing it as myself, and it's weird. Though I feel like Quinny is a booby trap that could attack me or an intruder at any time.
That's fair.
Acid spray.
After
I can make sharp things jump out of my body. So yeah.
Yeah. After an unpleasant, fitful sleep, the two of you find yourselves at the just outside the clown-themed hotel here in the inn here in our fair town. And Keith, the portal wizard, is waiting for you with a tiefling woman. She has kind of like a bit of a excited and like eager grin, sort of bluish black hair swept back over her horns, wearing kind of like a mid-length sort of like light flowy red dress that's clearly over like combat armor, like leather baked combat armor, but clearly going for a bit more of a casual vibe. And Keith the Portal Wizard is just like, "Oh, hey guys, good morning. Wow, you had a time last night, huh? I can smell that from here. Yikes. Hey, thanks again for helping out, and I'm really happy I get to return the favor. You guys are going to hell, right? That's where you want to go?"
Yep. That's the goal.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that for you. And
he's like wearing like some Reunities branded like sunglasses and shit. Like he's hung over.
Amazing. Yeah, you just look like a pop star the day after a show, just like sweatpants, like big glasses.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, right on. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I might need some help narrowing down which of the hells you're aiming for. But the good news is you're gonna have a traveling companion with you. This here's and she immediately like steps forward, looks to the two of you, makes a very quick decision, and like as she's putting out her hand to shake Quinny's hand, she sees the glasses and general aura and just like arcs it off to the right to instead shake Reginald's hand, realizing she doesn't want it, not in like a fuck this guy, but just in like a, oh, he looks rough, I don't really want to disturb him. And she just sort of thrusts her hand into yours, Reginald, and says, "Oh, hi, my name's Vex Blackthorn. Really nice to meet you. Wow, I can't believe we're going to be traveling buddies to hell. This is wild. Oh, I can't wait to get down there. Oh, I've sent so many people there. This is going to be awesome." Anyway, happy to help out. Happy to meet you. What's your name there, big fella?
Yeah, so my name's Reginald, but I mean, what brings you to hell? I mean, we've got some stuff to do for a person. This whole time Reginald's just trying to figure out if there's a symbol of Manny somewhere on this lady to figure out if she's like team evil.
Yeah, that's fair. And she just like kind of gives you like a come on man look and says, "Well, look, I know you can't tell it from the horns or the tail, but I've got some demonic or devilly heritage, and this might seem strange. You may never have met someone who set out in search of their origins before, but me, I just kind of want to know. I want to, I've been looking at family trees and stuff, and I just can't quite trace it back far enough. So I figured, what the hell, literally. So I'm gonna go down there and see if I can find like a great someone and be like,
right,
yo, who of you fucked a human person? Why did you do that? I'm glad you did because I'm alive now, but like, what even was that,
Do you know any names or anything? Because I mean, this guy's been to hell, and he just like thumbs over to Quinny, standing there looking like a ghost.
Like
Quinny
hell
just does one finger gun, like the other hand's like in his pocket. He's like, just like, hey, what's up?
Oh yeah, that guy looks like he's been to hell. Yeah, cool. That's great. Well, look, yeah, honestly, I found Keith almost by accident. I had one of those minor enchantments that you break in half and it kind of like leads you to the thing you want most in the world. It didn't quite work, but I did find Keith. So anyway, he said he could send me. And the good news is, and she kind of like looks left, looks right, and then just like pulls out a small jangling satchel. And she's like, and I brought enough gems to help make the ritual happen. So like, I mean, I don't know if you guys brought ritual gems, but it takes a lot of gems to create like a portal to hell. So, I mean, we could like go splitsies if you want, or like half and half, or like, I don't know if you guys want to save yours, we could just use mine. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have ritual gems?
You know what? I'm sorry that I ever misjudged you. I think you're a great member of this party. We're going to help you find your dad or mom or both. It's going to be a great journey. I don't have any gems.
Okay. Oh, you have like no gems.
Oh, none. Didn't know we needed those.
Oh,
but
damn.
I got Keith.
You know what? All right. This is going to be a good deal. Also, if you guys have been to hell, that'd be kind of great. I don't really know where I'm going down there. Keith was asking which hell. I didn't even know there were more hells. Apparently there's at least 9, but also a lot more. I don't know. She kind of like looks to Keith, and Keith is like, yeah, well, I mean, there's 9 that we kind of know about, but I've heard it on good authority there's some other ones. So, and he kind of like gives a finger gun back to Quinny because he doesn't really know if that's like a local greeting, but he's kind of into it.
When he said this before, and he knows it doesn't work, but he just says like circus hell. One of them is circus themed.
Circus hell. Yeah. All right. Hang on. Let me show my Holodex. And he pulls out a small little wooden tube with a bunch of filing cards on it. He just starts flipping through them. He's like, circus hell, circus hell, circus hell. No, sorry, man, no circus hell. Although the inn I stayed in would have been circus hell to some. For me, it was awesome.
Oh.
All right. Well, okay. Do you know anything about like the hell of many faces or
like... Oh yeah, the hell of many faces. Yeah, and he literally holds up a card that says the hell of many faces. He's like, yeah. The administratum, the hell of many faces.
Oh, there was a big paperwork portion of that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they're big on paperwork down there. Yeah, this is hell 3 1/3. It's really frustrating. There's a whole bunch of like fractional hells that just kind of exist in the margin. But yeah, if this is what you want to go to, like that's cool. I can send you there. We got the gems, so
great. Let's use our new best friend's gems and get this done. This is perfect.
And then I'll lean over to with Keith, or are you hanging back here?
She's like, oh no, man. That look, I appreciate you guys saving my bacon and everything, but no, I'm not going down there. Are you kidding? The amount of paperwork you need to do just to get in is wild. No, right. This is a one-way trip, guys. I'm sending you down, but then I'm on my way. You'll have to find your own way out.
Oh, you're not even going to hold the door open for us? We're just popping in and out. We'll be quick.
Yeah, cool. Listen, there's this god called Tiamat, god of dragons. Yeah, people are always like, why don't you just leave the door open, Keith? Tiamat is why you don't leave the door open. You want Tiamat? That's how you get Tiamat. And honestly, man, I don't want Tiamat. So right. No, man, I'm not holding the door open for anyone. But look, if you're going to the administratum, though, I have sent some clients there before. One of them was very good at paperwork. He was an actuary. He managed to send word back. I think I can drop you near the shredding service. They do a lot of paperwork down there. So Once they're done with it, it's got to go somewhere. And it means that these shredder guys, they're going in and out all the time. So if you're looking for a way into the Administratum, that might be the way to do it.
That sounds good.
And Vex puts up her hand. And he looks to her and he's like, yes? And she's like, so I'm hearing a lot about shredding. Cool. Respect it. Don't do it myself, but I respect it. Burning, though. Can there be burning? Mayhaps a fireball or two. And he's like, look, lady, I think as long as the files get destroyed, you can do whatever you want. And she just like very quietly, but very, very earnestly, like just, one of those like success kid moments, just like, yes. She's like, this is gonna be the best birthday ever. I'm really excited for this, guys. This is gonna be awesome.
It's your birthday?
Oh, it's gonna be tomorrow. I figured I'd celebrate it in hell, right?
Okie dokie, let's
happy
give
birthday.
them gems.
Yeah, that's how I got that Find Your Desire thing. It was a birthday present. Anyway, you're right. We can talk on the way. She just starts like spilling gems, and Keith's like, oh, actually, no, okay. So like she puts them in like a big pentagram, and when she isn't looking, he like quietly scoops them back up and just dumps them in a small bowl. And gradually begins kind of running his fingers through them and whispering incantations. And sure enough, it begins to glow, and he sort of starts pouring it out in a swirling shape on the ground. And soon enough, you can see, just in that classic Rick and Morty portal gun and or the video game Portals fashion, you can just see straight into what looks like just a massive mound of ribboned paper. And amidst it, a massive thresher kind of driving through it with massive scythed blades, just sort of slashing its way through the paper. And atop it, in a kind of like a sort of like a slightly off-white jumpsuit with kind of like blades strapped to either arm and kind of like a helmet with blades on it. You see the shredders, and they're just happily driving their thresher, and they just seem to be going about their business. And in the far distance, you can see, as you kind of like peek down and inside, what looks like a massive towered city, unlike anything you recall from when you were last here.
Keith, you know about the Administratum, do you?
Oh, just a little bit, yeah.
Has that always been there? And I gesture to the cityscape.
He's like, oh yeah, the archive stacks. No man, that's all the new King's duty. Yeah, he's been quite busy ever since he killed the Queen of Hell.
You mean Moonhammer?
Yeah, I think that was her name. There's Duella, and then there was Moonhammer. Yeah. As soon as he killed her, I started building those.
Oh shit! And I think Reginald will just reach down and pick up the scythe that he knows was somehow related to Moonhammer, and be like, "So, scythe." I think he's talking out loud now. He's abandoned trying to be subtle about this. It turns out Moonhammer is dead, murdered by the one of many faces.
And the scythe begins to glow, a golden glow. And suddenly you feel droplets of rain begin to fall. And soon it's a furious torrent of these golden droplets. And you just hear a primal scream of no! And as though you've been pulled by a hook off stage for bad jokes, Reginald, the scythe yanks you forward. With one hand, you manage to grab Quinny by the scruff of his neck, as we've established you can do, and pull him through. And Vex is just like, I don't know what this means, but yay! She leaps in after you. And just as the portal closes, you hear Keith go, wait, is this piss?
Glad someone said it.
You aren't the only ones who are falling, though. Elsewhere in hell, Butthole and Old West Fearun Moss, you are tumbling through a kind of a shattered void. there is a complete lack of color, substance, or texture, which is alarming because it's like looking into infinite darkness, but the darkness is still somehow something. Like, it's really unsettling. And you think you can see almost small tears, and in some places massive rips, through which you can see other lands, other dimensions. Moss, for you, this is, completely mind-blowing. Butthole, for you, this is kind of like, you've seen a bit of this before in other places. You understand you're seeing through the spell weave, that you're actually seeing kind of the alternate realities as they are, and you can see the effects the Great Collide is having as these start to mash together. But as you fall, you begin to pick up speed. And suddenly what was a very leisurely Alice in Wonderland descent has become a full-blown plummet. And Moss, you can feel, as you kind of look back over your shoulder, you can see people beginning to fall away from the chain of people. The velocity is so strong that even with your massive troll arm, it's like a ragged flag beginning to tear and shred in a sharp wind. And as the townspeople begin to slip, you see them fly through these cracks into other dimensions. It's a moment that is horrifying. You open your mouth to scream, to hold on, but you actually find that you can't breathe. There's no oxygen here. There's nothing in your lungs. You shouldn't really be alive right now. And one by one, each and every one of them is ripped away in this mad plummet. Butthole, you see a massive red sand pit rapidly approaching, and as you turn to mention it to Moss, you see Moss holding on desperately to that one last villager who just looks down at you and can't speak because of the lack of air, but manages to mouth, "Don't worry, Deputy Sheriff. I know you'll find us." And then they willingly let go and are kind of ripped up and away. At which point you fall through space and time into a massive blasted hellscape. You fall through purple-red clouds into air that smells of blood and diesel and brimstone. Butthole, you're still clutching onto Moss's hand as you begin to plummet. You thought of Moonhammer, and a few times now this has happened and hasn't played out for you. But you kind of thought you'd fall into like a circus tent or her palace or something. But you know this type of thing all too well. You can see from your rapid descent that beneath you is an arena, a massive multi-tiered arena with sort of large stretched shades over the various sort of audience stands. You can't quite tell from here, but it looks like it might be skin. Flags flutter in unfamiliar logos and sigils. The arena itself is filled with what looks like a kind of a broken cityscape, but all made of the sand. So similar to what you saw at the Mirage. And atop it, even from here, you think you can hear the sound of a furious and glorious fart. And sure enough, as you fall, you see two hammers raised to the skies and a pile of dead bodies surrounding the glorious Valkyrie that is Moonhammer. And as your heart fills with joy and your guts fill with flatulence, you turn to tell your new old friend, Sheriff Moss, only to see her disintegrating in your hand. She makes the face Laura is literally making, which is just a wide mouth and wide eyes. And in your hand, it's a full de-resing Marty McFly moment. Moss, what do you say before you wink out of existence?
So I didn't save them after all.
And with that,
Oh.
she's gone. Butthole, you fall alone, landing in. Do you land in like an Iron Man punch, or do you land in something more ridiculous and appropriate to?
I feel like it's a belly flop that almost does that cartoon thing where it's like 2 feet into the ground and he has to climb out of the hole.
Well, you hit the ground and all the corpses jump up a foot, and then you stagger to your feet.
Yeah, he was ready for an Iron Man until she de-rezzed, and then he didn't quite get out of it because he was looking up.
Yeah. And as you stand, the pitch black sun in this sort of high in the clouds creates a dark halo around your god and mine, Moonhammer. Moonhammer, you look down upon your most favorite disciple. What do you say?
Good to see you.
Oh man, it's good to be here. What does she look like now? Because it's been a while since Butthole.
It has been a while. So, Alyssa, it's been a hot sec since our characters have seen Moonhammer. When we last left you, you had ascended to become Queen of Hell. The hammers you had jammed into your stumps had merged with your hands, becoming the glorious hammers of Moonhammer. As you shed your fleshy body, all of your hair fell out, revealing your glorious baldness. And you just went like full Valkyrie. But that was before you got fucking murdered. So it's been a while. You've been living rough. I would say, like, what does Moonhammer look like now with, like, I don't know, a solid dose of like Mad Max tossed in there? Like, what's the dystopian wildlands Moonhammer look like?
Okay. So she has huge muscles, is like super vascular and veiny, including like her bald head. It's all just veins,
like
but with like
head.
a tiny little bit of stubble happening.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a giant tattoo on her back of like 2 hammers crossed.
Yeah.
And her toga that she's wearing is like all ripped and dirty, kind of like torn to shreds. She's got like some leather, like brown leather straps going around.
Nice.
Awesome.
A little bit of Xena action going on there with the straps.
Pardon?
If I remember correctly, Xena had like cool like brown leather straps like holding her armor together.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. But it's like she's all dirty and worn, and like there's dirt on her face and on her stubble head, and just so many veins. They're all
Butthole's gonna look up at her and just say, "You look almost as beautiful as Quinny."
With that, there's a massive like bum, bum, and a voice says, "Hey everybody, congratulations once again to Moonhammer on winning round 5,872, the still remaining champion of this battle royale for re-deification." Wow, I tell you, she keeps this up, she might just win herself a spot at God Prom. But till then, she's got a few more gods to go through. And looks like there is a random, whoa, is that a foreign object in the arena? In all my years announcing, I have never seen something this shameful. But as you know, here at the Redeification Games, anything goes. So congratulations, Moonhammer. Guess you got yourself a third companion. And
Wait,
with that, a little figure kind of peeks out from behind Moonhammer and waves cheerfully. This is a small, just like a small figure, wearing what at some point would have been kind of like a think almost like an Austin Powers suit. So like crushed blue velvet with like a ruff, but it's also seems like this is like that, but has been through the same shit Moonhammer has. Kind of plump. Think like the bunny from Alice in Wonderland. But if he was designed by Alice Cooper, so his head is a skull, and his ears are fire. And he just waves with a little bunny hand, and he's like, "Well, hi there, hi. I'm my name's Bunny Hops. I'm the first scribe and memory bank for the goddess of Moonhammer.
Well, hello, new friend. I'm Butthole. I'm, former king of a car.
Just like
and
jumps around in circles. He's like, Butthole Farch? You're Butthole Farch, cleric of Moonhammer?
Butthole doesn't know what to do, so he's doing the same jumping with the same hand gestures,
Like Buddy
kind of
Hops
circling
now
each
thinks
other.
this is a bit, so he has to keep going.
Yeah, that's me, buddy. You figured it out. So, like, you write down all of her thoughts or whatever?
Oh, yes, indeed. You see, when our illustrious queen died violently at the hands of the one of many faces.
Wait, what the fuck is going on here? This is insane. She can't die. She's the queen of hell. That just means she goes back to the throne and keeps ruling forever because Manny fucking stinks. I figured out his contract.
Oh, my Lord Moonhammer, would you like to explain that you died, or shall I?
I'll let you take this one, Bunny Hops.
Okay, thanks, ma'am. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. I'm very, and he takes his head off and he holds it against his chest like a hat, and he's like, I'm very sorry to have to deliver this news. Of course, his like jaw is like kind of muted by his hand now. He's like, but the queen is dead. Long live the queen. The one of many faces and his squad of usurpers, led by the one known as Bucky and the small angry blue one known as Yevgenovich, managed to kill our Lady Moonhammer. And then he like holds the skull up and he tries to wink, but it's a skull. So eventually just gives up and he puts it back on his head and he leans in and he says, but little do they know that Moonhammer knew they were coming for her. And this was all a clever ploy to get here. God hell, the hell for gods.
Okay, wait, so like this is all a plan because Moonhammer's still on top. We just got to do some chores or something, right?
Yeah, the problem is she lost a lot of her memory when she got stabbed repeatedly, so that's why I'm here. She got me to memorize everything she needed to remember, and then I hid in a corner while she got stabbed to death. And then I took a long time getting down here, so I've only been here for the last 100 or so rounds of the redeification games, so I haven't had a lot of chance to catch her up on things. It's almost like she hasn't been if this were a show, on a show for 3 years, and so it seemed necessary to have a little companion here to help add some information, color, and context.
Okay, that's good, because I don't really know what the fuck happened with her either. But I'll also say, if you're not sure about anything, I'm the guy who can fill in the details, because I love that goddess.
Yeah.
Am I right? And he points at her as though he's selling to a choir he expects to respond.
Alyssa, do you respond?
I do know one thing for sure. I have to get back to Butthole.
And he just raises his hands and says, Butthole!
Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. This is the best day ever. And I say that even though a friend just disintegrated. Okay, so we got to get to Butthole. And have you thought about my proposal? Bunny Hops, you obviously write down whatever happened. So I'd asked her to marry me the last time we saw each other.
Oh, I know.
What was her answer?
There's another trumpet. And it says, hey, everybody. Well, I know you've been waiting patiently, but time waits for no one here in God Hell. So Moonhammer, working real hard to become a goddess again, looks like she's got her work cut out for her. Folks, I am proud to introduce your friend and mine, Ferdinand the Righteous, the fallen god of Hydras. And with that, a massive gate lifts at the far end of the arena. And wearing just the fanciest Disney prince garb you've ever seen, a Hydra fucking stomps out just with little cravats on all the necks and the big ruffs and the tails flipped up. And just kind of waves one kind of massive dino hand to the crowd, waves the other massive dino hand to the crowd, and then just screeches with its four heads. And everyone applauds politely, and the announcer's like, wow, I don't think you can say that on TV. All right, folks, have a clean match, everybody. Let's see who gets to become a god again and whose soul will evaporate. And with that, Ferdinand the Righteous, fallen god of Hydras, rushes into the arena, plowing through buildings. Moonhammer, you've gotten you stuck around here far too long. You've been in a lot of rounds of these fucking re-deification games. You will not stand for this. You're gonna kill this fucking Hydra and anything else that comes your way, because you need to get back to Butthole. And there's only one way to do that, and that is to murder a fucking Hydra. What do you turn to Butthole and say before you rush the monster?
I fucking love this shit.
And then you leap through the air like fucking Matthew McConaughey at the end of Reign of Fire. Just hammers in the air, full body leap. And Butthole, what do you do?
Butthole's just following, man. This is just sun scythe hammer up, golden armor behind her, but looking like a little kid following their much bigger, older sibling onto a sports field, but he's still following.
Yeah, I think for clarity, we should say Moonhammer's probably like, we gotta say like 8 feet tall. So like still big, but not like impossibly big, you know?
Is it like that meme of like Joaquin Phoenix Joker dancing on the stairs and like little Photoshop like squat?
Yes.
Mini Joker dancing beside him kind of thing?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
She's got like 2 feet on him. So it's like watching a 13-year-old lead their 9-year-old sibling onto a soccer field.
Yeah, and Bunny Hops just looks like a boot. Too small for anything. And with that, the three of you charge. Juniper, you have been looking at maps for quite some time. And as someone who spent a lot of time in the wild, it's interesting to kind of have to conceive of the world in this way. But Hell, the administratum as it is seems to be known, the administrative ring of Hell, has changed quite drastically, even just in the time since your companions were previously here. It would seem that the one of many faces, who you know has a contract with Quinny, has seized control of this ring of Hell and has become its god, supplanting Moonhammer, Butthole's beloved deity, as the god ruler. But as the helpful goblin intake receptionist Farthole Farch told you, there's a resistance. Well, the many people appear to be in service of the one of many faces. There is a resistance led by none other than Bucky, but the Bucky who didn't rip out your heart and kill you, like your Bucky.
That's
unless
nice.
it's the same Bucky, you still haven't quite figured that out. But for now, that's your working hypothesis.
Okay, it's less nice, but okay.
The problem is you have yet to meet with anyone from the Resistance. You found your way to what is clearly a Resistance cell, like office. It's like a broom closet that has these maps up, and you can definitely see there's like signs that people have been doing things here, but there's no one here. In fact, you haven't seen anyone since Farthole. Now, granted, you haven't really left the administrative building yet, but from the maps, you can see that whatever used to kind of exist as buildings and offices have been essentially abandoned, replaced by massive filing cabinet towers that seem to be the seat of Manny's empire here in Hell. Beyond that, you don't have a lot of information, and frankly, you're starting to get pretty bored. You hated that fucking scroll, but at least the scroll kind of told you where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
So you've taken a look at some of the maps. You've seen the way the hellscape has changed, but you've also had a little bit of time to reflect on, dying. Where do you think Juniper is at right now?
How long have I been here?
Time is real hard to understand down here.
Does it feel like a long time?
It does, but in the way that sitting in a room with nothing to do feels like a long time. Like in terms of game time, your death happened right kind of like during the climax of the Freaky Friday arc.
Yeah.
And Red Dumb Redemption has been happening concurrently with everything else that's been going on. So yeah, it's recent enough, but also like you don't sleep down here. So it just
Right.
kind of is what it is.
It hasn't been like a month though. We're like, oh, we don't know. Okay.
You don't know. You're literally like, if you
Okay,
can
but
imagine
that's fair.
the most unsettled you've ever been in a waiting room, it's like you're in a windowless room with no clocks, and you've been there for a long time.
I think there would be surprise.
Mhm.
Because I mean, even knowing that there are like other dimensions, I don't know that Juniper thought her quest could continue if she died.
Mhm.
I think that was like to her, I'm like, okay, whatever happens after, there's still like finite. I can't do anything more. So I think this is like, I think she would like still be like hopeful. Honestly, this is like, oh shit, okay, I know I died. And yet there's still shit going on.
Right.
So let's get out there and see what the hell I can do.
Okay, I dig that. So I think with that attitude, then particularly like the it's not even as much boredom as it is just kind of like, I've resolved myself to this, I would like to get on with it world.
Yeah.
And as you're thinking this, you hear hurried footsteps kind of starting to rush down the hall. You just hear a sort of an unfamiliar voice just say like, well, I hope she's still here. I hope it's not too late. Oh, King Mudbutt will be so mad if I didn't get word to her soon enough. And as you hear kind of the sound of these footsteps echoing down the hall, you immediately move to the door. Now, do you think you'd move to like I need to ambush whoever this is kind of way, or would you stand by? What do you think Juniper's reaction would be?
Do I have like any of my equipment, or am I just kind of in like?
I'm gonna say you look like you previously did. You're wearing your armor.
Okay.
But you're not really sure how physics works down here, so you don't have a sword right now. You might be able to resummon it at some point, but right now you are wearing what you'd be wearing, but you're also not sure how much protection it will offer you.
Okay, then I think I'm going to assume a defensive stance out just beside the door, kind of like standing beside it, ready to clock someone if they look aggressive.
Great. All right. So you hear the footsteps. You kind of raise your fists, and there's some kind of mist that seems to be getting kind of in your eyes. That's kind of frustrating. So you kind of like look around the room because you haven't really seen anything like that, and you realize the mist is you as your fists begin to disintegrate in front of you, and as you kind of look down at your hands, Marty McFly style. The door swings open and passes through you, dispersing the rest of you with a loud thud, and you just hear someone say, "Juniper," and you're gone.
What?
You blink your eyes open, and you find yourself in a room just surrounded, like full Charlie Day conspiracy maps, just red lines everywhere. Just papers everywhere. There's a large overstuffed red sofa, and there's kind of like a big table that it looks like someone has hurriedly tried to clean up, but still kind of looks like there's magazines everywhere. And you just hear, "Oh shit!" And as you turn, you see a guy just like sprinting for a chair, and he just throws himself into it and quickly spins around. And then he just slowly turns back around, slightly out of breath and a little bit flustered, and just says, well, if it isn't... I'm sorry, you caught me doing that, didn't you?
Yes. I saw yes with the hurrying and the spinning and the trying. What? What's going on?
Yes.
Who? Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I've had a rough time. I'm Juniper. I'm pretty sure still.
Oh,
And I like
yes.
look at my hands to see like, are they solid again?
Yeah, and he just kind of grins broadly, and you can actually see he has 2 rows of teeth, which is a little alarming. But he is a think like a bit like an Anthony Stewart head circa Giles type.
Yeah.
So just kind of like well put together in a vaguely librarian-y way. His beard comes to a couple of points. He has pointed ears. His skin is gray. And as I said, double row of teeth. His nose looks vaguely humanoid. It does have it is slitted at the bottom, but generally in a sort of a vaguely humanoid way. And yeah, just wearing like a classic Giles beige suit. So just like well put together, but a little bit rumpled, and clearly is a little bit out of sorts. And he just says, yes, you are indeed Juniper. That's why you're here. It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Rhetoric Khan. But Rhett, my friends. Please.
Rhetoric?
Yes, Rhetoric.
Oh, that's not promising. All right. Sorry.
Oh, not like
Continue.
rhetoric, like rhetoric. Rhetoric.
Oh,
please call me
okay.
Rhett. Rhett is fine.
Okay,
Rhett's my
that's-
friends.
okay.
I hope we'll be friends. And speaking of friends, you can come out now. Sorry, I tried to do a dramatic reveal. It's kind of my thing, but it didn't quite work. And Juniper, you hear a door open, just like under like all the papers and like the red cords kind of like stretch out as the door opens. And you're kind of shocked and taken aback to see yourself wheel into the room. But yourself as Moss. Moss, Old West Moss, you roll into the room and see a woman standing looking very confused at you. But this seems to be the person that Rhett insisted you had to meet. So Laura, congratulations, you just met yourself. And he looks to the two of you and goes, yeah, so this is kind of what I need to talk to you about. And then he holds up 2 fingers, and then very slowly he puts one down and kind of shrugs and says, I'm afraid there could be only one. Meanwhile, Moonhammer and Butthole, you got a Hydra problem, and the only solution is more hammer. So we're going to skip initiative because this is going to be a surprise round. Alyssa, I know it's been a while since you played D&D. We're very excited to have you back. Welcome back, by the way, now that we're through our dramatic cold open. The way combat tends to work in this game is we roll for something called initiative. And initiative is just our way of figuring out who goes first. Generally speaking, the way I like to think of the rules in Dungeons and Dragons is they're just really there to stop playground fights. From like, well, my laser goes through your laser-proof shield. Okay, but like my skin is laser-proof too. It's like, okay, well, but my gun shoots drills now. The dice are just there to stop us from having that conversation because it's like, oh, well, no, it turns out I'm not laser-proof. I died. So we'll basically look to the rules anytime we need judgment or arbitration of some sort about trying to do something. But the good news is the story moves ahead regardless of what happens. So we're not going to worry about initiative just yet. We'll get to that soon. Instead, let's get to the fun part where you smack things with your hammers. So in this iteration of Moonhammer, you are a barbarian. You've been at this a long time. So you are very, very good at hitting things with your hammer hands. That is, in fact, what you are absolutely best at. You're also good at surviving things, getting hit by stuff, staying alive in cold temperatures, all that sort of shit. You're just a tough, rough and tumble badass who is good at kicking ass and taking names. And your special power that you should be aware of, just so you can decide when you want to use it, is you can fly into a rage. And what that rage will do is it'll make you harder to hurt. It will allow you to do more damage. And also, as a sort of secondary power you can choose to take or not, you can throw caution to the wind to make yourself easier to hit in order to get more punchy. So as you're fighting things, if you're like, fuck this guy, I want him to die, just let me know and I'll tell you what weird things you can add. But in the meantime, you're leaping through the air. You have a 4-headed Hydra rushing at you. You've got your hammers ready to go. Butthole beckons. Why don't you go ahead and roll me an attack roll? So what I'm going to ask you to do is roll D20, which is a 20-sided dice. So I need 2 of those, or well, we'll roll them each individually. So roll 1, and then you're going to add 9 for your attack bonus. So that speaks to how strong you are, as well as how good you are at hitting things with your hammer hands.
Oh, so I got a 1.
Oh no! Okay, so 1 is a critical failure, which is a bummer. So we'll return to that in a second. Go ahead and roll your second attack as well, please.
4.
All right. So, maybe it was less a I let them kill me and more a rolled a 1 and a 4 got killed kind of scenario. That is totally fine. You leap through the air with your hammers aloft. But damned if you still, it's the same problem you had last time when you were in a fleshy body. And the good news is you're still in a god body, but you're not a god anymore. And, just the sweeping winds of gas you would normally fly into things with, you just can't quite summon. So you leap dramatically, arms in the air, slow motion, Zack Snyder movie style, and you miss entirely. You don't even make it to the Hydra. You just collapse into the ground. It's awkward. You do that thing that T-1000 does in Terminator where he rolls in his hands, ting along the ground. Your hammer's just fucking kicking up red sand. And you come to a frustrated stop. Butthole, you see the moon fall from the sky, plummet into the ground. Moonhammer, Bunny Hops is at your side immediately with a little ratty cloth that he carries in his front pocket. All right, so you wipe your face dramatically, as I see on the camera here, throw it back to him, and what do you say to inspire Butthole, who is looking on?
This is why I need your help.
This might be the best day of Butthole's on life.
Yeah. Butthole's like, well, you know what they call for in times of emergencies? Hot snakes! And he just starts, and then basically underneath the Hydra, a butthole opens in the ground to a 10 feet diameter circle full of fire. And then what look like giant turds just float out of the ground up to 40 feet out of lava and rock. And you just hear farting sounds and a voice going, hot, 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 hot. And it hits the Hydra. So, Tom, I'm casting that at level 6. So I need a dex save. Wait, what is it that I need for this? A dex save. DC 17.
Well, if there's one thing giant lumbering beasts are good at, it's dodging out of the way of things that open up beneath them. Yeah, I rolled a straight 9 and I get +0. So let's just say I get into the way.
Cool. I lied. I'm going to cast it at level 5. I'm not used to the spell sheet, and level 5 and 6 are identical. So I want to save that 6 slot for later.
Well, hang on. Let me reroll. No, it doesn't matter. I take pain.
Cool. All right. So here we go. Oh, they're not identical. I'm going level 6, baby. Let's go for the big time. All right. So that does.
Do you need a minute? Should we
dude, I haven't played this character in 2.5 years.
I know. I'm
yes,
just taking
I need all the minutes. No. So I do 16 fire damage.
Whew.
And I got to track this second number separately. And 20 radiant damage for
Nice.
a total of 36 damage.
Oh, no.
From the hottest snakes in hell.
Oh, man. Ferdinand the Righteous did not sign up for this. He signed up to Om Nom, a fallen goddess, not this bullshit. Man, that is a fuck ton of damage. Jesus Christ. All right. Well,
Level 6, baby. I only got 1.
Honestly, man, well spent. Also just goes to show the power of positive reinforcement. Moonhammer tells you got value, and damned if you don't believe it. Amazing. So what I'm going to get from both of you now is an initiative roll. So this was kind of our first surprise round. Butthole, you help Moonhammer to her feet. You put out a hand. She puts a hammer in the hand. I must say, just from a mental standpoint, there's nothing I love more than just imagining Moonhammer doing all this shit with hammers. And And also, Alyssa, for the record, I'm going to narrate around everything, but please feel free to jump in whenever with whatever. If there's a cooler way you want to do it or a dumber way you want to do it, just like fucking start talking and I'll just shut up.
Yeah, I think as Butthole pulls her up, it's doing that like Michael Bay pan around, and in the background is just lava turds burning a Hydra as he pulls her up.
And the Hydra's doing like the full like transformer spin in the air.
Yeah.
It's just getting hit by hot snakes and
Yeah, sparks are coming out of the Hydra for some reason, but he like leans down coolly to do that like I'm gonna help someone up thing. And then as Moonhammer starts to pull up, Moonhammer's too heavy, so in slow-mo you just see like Butthole grit his teeth and get yanked forward. So it circles around and she looks cool, and he's clearly the comedy sidekick. One could say a Martin Lawrence to her Will Smith if we were to look at action movie comparisons. And then Butthole turned as though he's going to go back to back with his hammer in his hands and just assumes she's going to do it, but he's secretly praying it'll happen.
Moonhammer, what do you do?
What did you just say?
He stepped next to you and he's trying to do the like back-to-back buddy cop thing with his weapon in hand.
Oh, okay. Okay. So am I almost back to back with you?
You're standing up. It's up to you what you do now. Butthole's trying to do a cool kid pose.
You can just hang him out to dry. You can get in there. It's completely up to you.
Okay. I'm just gonna where the fuck is Bunny Hops?
Buddy Hops is just like at your left.
Okay,
foot.
I'm grabbing his towel again. And I'm just gonna clean off my hammers here.
Okay, so it's just like a double hammer rub.
Yeah, I gotta clean them off.
Yeah, that's good. You gotta keep those hammers clean.
And I'm gonna toss the sweaty, gross rag back on Bunny Hops's head. It kind of
God, Moonhammer's hammers sweat. That's so disgusting. It's incredible and gross.
Yeah. Oh, they're porous hammers.
It just like flops over Bunny Hops's skull head and like extinguishes his ears for a second. So he like rapidly pulls it off and stuffs it in his breast pocket or whatever, like because it's his pocket square.
Like pocket square action. Yeah. Amazing. And he just mutters, "So fucking cool," as he like spits out hammer sweat, which is just truly fun.
Oh God!
Even in a skull mouth.
Metallic.
Yeah. Amazing. So you guys go back to back. The Hydra finishes its sparking spin, hits the ground, kind of shakes the Disney Prince outfits all like torched now. Now it actually legitimately looks metal as hell. And then I'm going to have you roll initiative. So on your sheet there will be a number that says initiative. So if you could roll a d20 and add that number, please.
I got a 15, Tom.
All right. 15 for Butthole. And I've got
11 for me.
11 for Moonhammer. That's always so fun saying that. I've missed you, Moonhammer. And the Hydra. Okay, great. So the Hydra kind of takes like a battle stance and roars, but also you can see its head's like darting back and forth in a vaguely confused manner between like it was also expecting a back-to-back buddy cop moment. And so it's like, wait a minute, is this a tactic? Like, I don't really know. And Butthole, you've seen that confusion before. You know that you will be going first when we cut back to you. But first, Quinny, you and Reginald and Vex fall from the sky. You see Vex just fully Nightcrawler Bamf halfway through the air. And just kind of appear on the ground, grin up at you, and then roll under a sheaf of paper. Just kind of getting ready for assistance. For you, Quinny, having someone who is very clearly setting you up for backstab is like muy bueno. You kind of follow Reginald and Sunscythe down. Also, you weren't aware there was a talking weapon on your body the whole time you were Reginald, so that's a little concerning. But you hit the ground. You're a few meters away from the Thresher. They haven't noticed you guys because they are busy shredding. And boy, do they love shredding. Reginald, you hit the ground next to Quinny. Sunscythe in your head is just like, No, Moonhammer can't be dead. No, that's crazy. She's too strong for that. She's got to be here somewhere. Or like, I don't know, is there a hell for gods? Like if a god gets killed and they've been kind of an asshole, like do they go to hell? Because if so, like we should check there.
Okay, well, we'll look into that. I'm feeling pretty confident about it. But first I need to figure out who I need to murder. Queen.
Yeah.
Reginald.
Yes.
Where the fuck have you guys been?
Was that piss?
I don't know. The weapon did it.
You can talk to the weapon? The weapon does things?
Well, I mean, the weapon can talk. I'm just answering.
Ask the weapon if I just got pissed on.
Okay, awkward question. Did you just piss on Quinny?
Yeah, look, I'm sorry about that. My golden shower ability is both incredibly potent, as you saw in your battle against the vampire. But also, occasionally just get a little like rage, a little rage pee from time to time when things happen. It just, you must understand, my sister and I are the twin gods. She of the moon, me of the sun, her of the flatulence, me of the streams. And together we create a cycle, a system necessary for all life. And I guess you could say I was just really pissed off.
But is she the god of poo?
No, there's another guy. We've hung out with him a couple of times. We kind of decided we didn't like him.
Gee, that makes sense to me. The combination doesn't really add up. But then when I hear there's a guy, and remember, Quinny is only hearing my half of this conversation.
Yeah.
But now there's a guy that's like,
his name is Shit Wrench. We don't like him.
Oh, shit.
We don't care much for him.
So Quinny talked with the weapon, and it wasn't pee.
Good. Yeah, good cover. Want to roll an
Quinny-
insight check there, bud? Or
Yeah.
Do an opposite of deception?
Yep.
Insight. Where's insight?
That's a 21.
Oh, that's an 11 plus 0.
Thank God, Quinny. You're no golden shower.
Not one of my
you were fine.
strengths. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, good then. Good. Quinny says, soaked in piss.
So, Quinny, I've never had to do admission in hell before. Do we just like kill everyone? Can we kill people? Do we get them to team up against Manny? Like, I'm recovering as a coward, so I'm ready to do brave things, but I don't know what to actually do.
That's a good question. Tom, what do I know about killing in hell?
Well, you were hitman of hell for some time.
It seems pretty okay, I think.
So what you would know, Quinny, is you wouldn't know about the god hell because you never killed a god. But as you understand it, if things die down here, like this is the last stop on the trip. So if you die in hell, you blink out. Like that's it for you. You just cease to exist on any plane in any way, shape, or form. So you didn't put too much thought into that when you were doing it because you were killing like demons and devils and fiends and like.
I think I was also more enthralled than
you absolutely were. Yeah, for sure. But also, I mean, for Quinny's kind of twisted moral set, like none of these, you weren't just like killing random civilians or anything. So yeah, you would know that a death here just means you blink out. That's it. But in terms of the people who are trapped here, like I don't know that you may have learned this later, but like you were destined for endless paperwork at Devil DeVito's place. So it would seem that like these shredders are probably damned souls rather than demons, but you're also not sure. You can't see under their shredder masks.
Yeah. So I would say to Reginald, look, if you die up there, you come down here. If you die down here, you just got nowhere else to go. So it's kind of like, that's it. You're just not.
Oh my God, why didn't we bring Manny up there? This is so stupid. I don't want to fucking die.
Well, no, this is good. If we brought him up there, he'd just come back down here. We don't like him down here. Obviously, he killed Moonhammer. We kill him down here, he's gone.
Okay,
Forever.
so this is like a high risk, high reward scenario, is what you're telling me.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, but I
I
need
didn't
you to
know
promise
that
me
until
that
2 seconds ago, but yeah.
I need you to promise me that I won't die.
No. And look, this is like a personal growth thing. I would have been really easy to say yes and not actually be able to back it up. But no, I can't promise that. You're going to have to be brave, and we're both going to have to be careful.
Reginald's going to offer him a fist bump and be like, exactly. See, we're both a little bit cowardly now. This is good. This honesty is good. I might betray you if things get really bad. I'm really going to try not to, though.
Hey, I might stab you in the back. It's like one of the things I'm extremely good at. And I like dab the knuckles.
And as you do, like as the fists touch, the Michael Bay cam just like slow-mo spins past you. And as it does, you're illuminated by the brilliance of the eruption of the thresher behind you as it explodes into red gold flame. And just as the fists touch, just like full explosion. Neither of you are looking at first, and it looks like you're doing a cool guys don't look at explosions thing. And then it's just like midway through, both of your expressions turn to horror and shock as you kind of like start to turn towards it and then are tossed through the air by the shockwave. And as you kind of hit the deck, Vex just goes, "Oh, sorry, that was danger close. Look out!"
And Quinny, like, as the air comes back into his lungs after being like winded and blown backwards, is like, run. He like gets up to his feet and starts scrambling for cover. I'm assuming that other thresher is, or any and all other threshers are now on like high alert.
They are all
think,
turning in the like over the fields of shredded paper. They're all kind of like turning towards you and rumbling your way.
Yeah.
Reginald has never been more thrilled to follow an order. No order has ever made this much sense, and he will just take off at a sprint after Quinny.
Amazing. And with that, the two of you dive for cover into the paper. Juniper, Rhett is kind of looking back and forth between you and Moss. Moss has no recollect or no kind of understanding of exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you would try and explain it to her, or are you just going to let this ride? I will also say, for the purposes of this, I will be controlling Moss.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to do the mental gymnastics that I was alluding
I
to
will
earlier.
also say, because no one else has said it, and I've been thinking it the whole time, the fact that you have a character that combines the name Retcon and Recon into this guy is majestic. Let's just continue.
Thanks, pal.
While he deals with the two Moss problem.
Yeah. I think Juniper just turns to Rhett and says, I mean, you say that, and yet there are two. So I'm sorry, but I think you're mistaken.
And
Juniper's like, not sure.
And he's like, yeah, I can understand. Look, I can understand why you would think that. But as you can see, and he like stands up very proudly and like scurries over to one of the maps, and he says, so this is you in your I believe you refer to it as Dumb Fearun, or at least the hosts do. I don't know if you do. Dumb Fearun here, and you, and he points to Moss and he says, you are from what the hosts refer to as Old West Fearun over here. You see, and unfortunately, this hell, the Administratum, well, it belongs to Dumb Fearun, not to Old West Fearun. And he pulls a pin out of the wall and actually takes Dumb Fearun or Old West Fearun down. He says, "You see, the problem is your hell is no longer anywhere. It's gone." Along with your world, and in his hand it turns to ash.
And Juniper said, "No. Things are colliding. Things are colliding. Things are merging. This can be both now. This can be both now. No one needs to go anywhere.
And you
This
kinda-
I'm certain of.
Juniper, I understand from some of the observations we've made of you that you're attempting to stop the Great Collide. Is that fair?
Stop, prepare the world for, I mean, it wasn't totally clear. I'd kind of landed on stopped, but now it seems to be happening.
And Old West Moss is just kind of like nodding her head. Laura, where do you think she'd be at? I'm not going to make you have conversations with yourself, but I will check in with you so I'm not prescribing character.
Old West Moss would be, I think she's kind of like, I like how this Juniper thinks. Yep. Yep. This all sounds right. Yep.
And Rhett just kind of smiles, his double-toothed grin, and says, yes, of course you do. Well, you see, Juniper, perhaps this was not clear. As the worlds fold down into each other, as I said, the two, and then they collide, and then one if you're lucky, or none if you're not. And the same is true of their heavens and hells. Old West is gone. Permanently, it is erased from all existence. And as a result, we have a bit of a problem here, you see, because you are dead and in hell, and
yes.
Moss here is also in hell. And you see, that creates a bit of a paradox down here. And, well, I'm the host who deals with that. So...
Okay, but how is that a paradox? Because, like, we're both right here and nothing seems to be going wrong.
He kind of nods at you and he says, nothing is going wrong here because I pulled you out of there. You cannot stay here. This is for people like me, not people like you. Hosts live in these spaces.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry, mortal soul. Have I offended you? Look, we are far beyond your plane of existence, and we have much more important duties than to babysit for mortals. Look, I'm trying to do you a solid here. I could have just winked you both out of existence, saved myself a ton of work. Instead, I'm offering you a chance, both of you, a chance. The Great Collide is destroying everything in its path, and we're losing variations. And I love variations. I just don't love when the variations contradict the rules of the universe. You know, it's kind of a thing for me. It's kind of my deal. So here's the offer. Either I can let you both rest and just blink you both out of existence, or where there are currently two, there needs to become one. So what's it going to be?
Well, I'm not killing her.
And Old West Moss?
It's like, what, like fight to the death? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, no, I please, such games are beneath me.
You said there can be only one. That's
well, yes.
what people say before they're like, now fight to the death.
Oh, is that how they're doing it these days? In the Highlands?
It's pretty classic.
Oh, well, you'll have to excuse me. I'm a little bit out of touch, what with being an ethereal being above the concerns of mere mortals. That's good to know. Thank you. I'll be sure to update my pop culture references. Well, so you don't seem to desire to kill one another or to blink out of existence. Then I guess I have your answer. Wonderful. I should warn you. A, you both need to agree that this is your course of action, and B, this is going to hurt like a bitch. So, what do you say? Shake on it?
What's the course of action? I still don't know what you're talking about.
There are two of you, and there needs to be one. Moss here doesn't have a Juniper. Juniper, you do have a Moss, but not one from the Old West, so it should really be a net gain for both of you. There's more than enough room in your body for both, isn't there?
Wait, whose body? What?
He shakes his head, and like a glass of tea, like a mug of tea appears in his hand. He goes, I'm going to get out a chart. 20 minutes later, Juniper, it is clear to you and to Old West Moss that you are both one and the same from different dimensions. Unfortunately, both of you existing in this hell will literally tear it apart and cause the destruction of Dumb Fearun and this ring of hell, unless only one of you leaves. And so the offer at your feet is to merge with Old West Moss, become one being made of two worlds, and thus strike out to attempt to stop the collide both here and elsewhere, or to just cease to exist. Which would you?
Yeah, they're both going to choose the first option. Of course.
I don't know. You've made new characters before. So, Juniper, you reach out your hand. Moss, you reach out your hand.
Moss spits on her hand.
Thank you. I was hoping she would.
And then reaches out.
Juniper, do you do the same?
Yeah, once Juniper's like already reached out her hand and sees Moss spit, and she's like, "Oh," and then just spits on it and puts it back. Yeah.
And he says, "Ah, I love it when a good plan comes together." And then he grabs both of your heads and smashes them together, and you explode.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our special guest, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons logo is by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, The Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Borovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Chet Awesome Laser, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, Fire Unfriendly, Logan, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.